Do you have to be a strong leader in order to be a good entrepreneur?
Okay, so your one word. Let's dive into it. Ho ho!
Yeah,
What do you got? How can I help?
I am still having a little bit of trouble with finding my one word, and I've been
Okay.
meditating on it and just, coming up with my own questions to ask myself and, digging really deep. And that's probably the one thing that I would say was the first and primary issue I'm having.
Okay, so your one word. Let's dive into it. Who was your favorite teacher growing up?
Professor Sarah Juicy, my
Professor
nutrition.
Professor Sarah Ducey?
hmm
And
She was my nutrition teacher when I was doing biology.
okay. And what did you like about her?
Caring, compassionate, very, very intelligent. She dug deep. She cared for her students. She cared for the people, even Honesty was being launched in Bethesda during that time, I remember. And I was part of the nutrition club with, she made me so passionate about nutrition that I joined the nutrition club. And I was actually, because of her, on the dean's list that semester. It was my first time ever. And we were passing out little samples of Honesty on campus. And that was when it was first launching. She opened my eyes to a lot of things in regards to a lot of, unfortunately, lies. And, it's very complicated if I want to get in depth with it. But she, regulations that we put on things versus the European Union and the FDA here, where, she digged deep and she digged for the truth. And she wasn't hesitant to let anybody know the truth.
Okay. What I like about that is as you first started talking about her, you said care 3 times. She was caring, she's care, she has a lot of care.
Yeah.
So that's
compassion
already
and care, yeah.
Compassion, you said once. Passion, you said once. Truth, you said once.
Let me get my notes. Yeah.
Dig deep,
truth,
you said once.
Yeah.
Truth, you said once.
So what I had on your what you're on your actual list.
Wow, look at that. Color coded too. I love it. That's awesome.
I wrote she was smart, accomplished, genuine, caring, motivated, loving, humble, honest. She had knowledge and was truthful and genuine, and of all things nutrition and health related, regardless of whether it went with the norm, FDA regulations, etc.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'd written down.
And how about the next question? What'd you write down?
So for what was my favorite movie, to be honest, I just watch documentaries right now. So I love seeking knowledge. But The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Wow. I used to know all the songs by heart to Little Mermaid. I love Sebastian.
Oh man, I knew every song by heart, and I can't even count how many times I've seen that. And I can still watch it. I can still watch it.
Les poissons, les poissons. How I love les poissons.
The chef, he was incredible.
Okay. Little Mermaid. I love it. Okay, so why? Why Little Mermaid?
So what I wrote down with her was she's caring and loving, beautiful.
Oh, there's that word again. Okay.
Beautiful, genuine, strong, humble, smart, curious, and knowledgeable. She was very curious to know and seek knowledge on humans. So, and I find that those were the parts of the movie that were most fascinating to me. Like when she got the fork and she called it a dingle hopper or something. I don't know if you remember. It was a comb. It was a comb. She was brushing her hair with it. Right.
When she was a human.
Yeah. No. It was actually before she even met Prince Eric.
Oh, her collection of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. She was very curious about the human world.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you do.
Flashbacks. Yeah, we used to sing all the songs around a campfire at my parents' cottage all the time. Me and my cousin. I love that movie. I like it. I'm just thinking how to group these.
I know it's hard, right?
It's not. No, I mean sometimes. It's hard sometimes for yourself. It's hard for yourself sometimes to see. It's easier for sometimes an outsider to come in. But if I'm you, I'm honestly looking at. Did you look at the credo part? of the book?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. I
If
filled
I'm
everything
you,
out.
you filled everything out. If I'm you, I honestly put care at the top. It came up 3 times when you're talking about your nutrition teacher. It's the first thing out of your mouth when you said Little Mermaid. But then what care means can be broken down. Like under care is truth,
Right.
is strength, is passion. It's not just, you're not just going to be, oh, I'll just love and hug you and I'll just support you when I don't have any dreams or ambitions of my own. Right? It's like,
Right. So I actually spoke with my doctor right before, my physician before, and he's a holistic Eastern medicine. He combines the two. But I listened to a lot of Ram Dass and, Alan Watts and things like that. But the one that sticks out to me the most is Ram Dass, and since 2014. And I actually I funded at the time a trip to Hawaii from one of my close friends to go and visit him because I thought she needed it, to go. It was like a retreat kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
And to this day, that was when my enlightening moment. And then the second enlightening I think my spiritual enlightening. And then my second enlightening moment, I think, was career-wise when I read your book, where I just felt like I could not stop crying. And I was sitting in my closet in the middle of a ton of clothes, and I was just bawling. And I think I messaged you 1 billion times at that time, going crazy. I was angry at you. I was because I was having a moment, I was enlightened. I was oh my God, how did he get these out of me? But I just can't pinpoint the exact one. But with Ram Dass, I remember it being compassion. It wasn't about sympathy. It wasn't about empathy. It was just compassion, It's not putting yourself in someone's shoes. It's not being sympathetic or pity. It's just being able to, be there for be there in the moment.
In listening to you and your story, I would put that under care. That's compassion is definitely, if you look at what most people would think of care, they would think of compassion, they would think of hugs, they would think of support, they would think of best friend being the care. And you definitely have that side to you. But there's also this strong hero, Wonder Woman kind of, I'm gonna make my mark in the world, the ambition, which combines with truth. Truth is care. Right. For you, truth is care. For you to learn the truth is self-care, right? To learn the truth about, because when you figure out your one word, it applies to yourself as well as what you give to the world and the people around you. So truth is self-care. I want to know about nutrition, right? You want to know about nutrition for yourself. You want to know about spiritual practices for yourself. But that also becomes care. You're not going to be the person who if you see your friend struggling and you know something's going to help them, you're going to tell them the truth.
Exactly. And I always have a problem with that. That always slaps me in the face because sometimes people don't want to hear it. They're not ready to.
That's it. They're just not ready to yet. So that's where you have to. A lot of
it's acceptance and self-awareness. And I don't think.
You need to walk. That's where you need a little more compassion.
Yeah.
Some people are ready for it and you can hit them hard with the truth. Yeah. And some people aren't and they need more compassion. But you have both sides.
Yeah, my mom always tells me, she's like, you have no filter. You need to sometimes be a little, because I'm too truthful, and it can end up hurting the person. So I can see where those need to be balanced out. My doctor said I was very tenacious, I guess curious, or just his word for me was, I actually screenshotted them so I don't forget.
Okay.
He said tenacious and driven. He said something it had to do with driven. He was nothing can stop you if you're trying to,
Yeah.
If I'm curious about something, even if he's talking to me, he'll stop me because he'll know my mind is already.
Yep. So I'm taking notes. Mine are a lot less color coded as we go along here, and hard to read. What did I just write down?
Another thing with me is I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 6. So yeah, and that hence my podcast name.
Here's what I'm feeling from vibing from the conversation. I have care at the top, but care breaks down into 3 different things, 3 buckets. The first bucket Yeah, if you want to, so care is at the top, like hashtag care. What does that mean? And this is your chance to say, this is what it means to me versus what other people might think.
Right.
The first bucket is the most obvious one, which is compassion. You're a very, compassionate person. You want to see people win. And that's the most obvious one. Like if you look up a definition in the dictionary about care, you're going to see a bunch of things related to compassion.
Right.
The second one, though, and this is why it's great to have the credo, because it gives a lot more definition. The second one is, I would label truth. But truth could be, under the bucket of truth is curiosity, is knowledge, is wisdom seeking. But that's all like around truth. It's around getting the information. You're not just gonna do something because somebody tells you to do it. You have to understand it. It's got to feel right. And you're not just going to accept what's kind of status quo, right? But that's care. Like most people won't see that as care, but for you, that's care. That's self-care as well as caring for other people. If you see somebody going down the wrong road and you know that they're against truth, like you should be doing this instead. Yeah. That's your care. And it can be seen as you probably lean so heavy on the truth that you don't have enough compassion sometimes for the people and what they're doing, but compassion is still a big part of you. So that's the line that you have to keep balancing when you're talking to people, is how much compassion do they need and how much truth do they need? Because it's all care. You're not telling somebody they need to go do this. When somebody says you have no filter, it's still care. You're telling them because you love them. You're not telling them this because you want them to go home and cry. Right. It's out of love. They may not feel it out of love. Right. They might get offended.
It just comes out harsh to them.
But it's love. Like it's just tough love.
Right.
But it's the truth that nobody else might be willing to tell them. You need to walk the line of maybe a little more compassion for where they're at right now. Yeah. That they may not be able to hear the truth quite yet.
Right.
And then so you've got compassion is one stream, truth is one stream, and then the third stream would be the strength. And under strength is tenacity, ambitious, driven, Wonder Woman, all of those. I want to build a great life. I want to do something meaningful. I'm not just going to be second fiddle to somebody, right? Yeah. I'm going to make my mark. I want to have an impact. Like you can sense that in you. So that's part of care. That's part of care again for yourself, like that you're going to be driven. You're going to chase things down. You've got dreams and you want to accomplish them, and also care for others in that you'll likely push people beyond their comfort zone to do things that they never thought were possible as well. Which is you cheering them on and pushing them to go be driven and ambitious as well.
Another question I was going to ask you is the relation between entrepreneurship and leadership. Do you have to be a strong leader in order to be a good entrepreneur? Or I know you have to be a leader to yourself, but
that's where it starts for sure. And I think if you want to be an entrepreneur and build something beyond yourself, then you need to be a leader, right? Because you're managing people. If it's just going to be you solo forever, then all you have to worry about is leading yourself. Right. I mean, to some extent, you have to lead your customers to an answer and help them. But if you want to build a business beyond just a solo entrepreneur shop, if that's your ambition, and looking at what you want to do, you've got ambition, right? It's just part of what you want to do. And so learning to be a good leader is going to be important. I think you've got it though. Like, I think you just have to tap into care.
And the compassion part.
Well, both, like the compassion, all of it, like the compassion for sure. If any of the areas, like if you go and give somebody a harsh truth and then they go home and cry and they didn't get it, you're going to feel bad that you were too hard on them. Even though it was the truth, even though it's ultimately what they need, you're still going to feel bad because they didn't receive it and it didn't actually help them. So you just need to practice more of the compassion side because it's still in you. Some people need to be treated with baby gloves.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like I want to take giant leaps forward with people, but not everybody's capable of making those giant leaps. What I care more about is, are we making progress? Are we moving forward even a little bit? Even just getting them to admit this one little tiny thing, even though you can see 18 steps ahead of where they need to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Just taking the one step is a win, right? the danger is putting yourself in their shoes. You're saying, well, if I was in their shoes, I would go off and do this. But they're not as strong as you. They don't have as much self-awareness as you. They haven't done all the work that you've done. They haven't read the books and done the spiritual retreats and all that. So you have this unfair advantage compared to them. So it's meeting them where they're at, which is, I think you would actually be great at it if you just leaned in it a little bit more. The truth and the being honest is default easy for you to get to.
Yeah.
The ambition and the strength is default now easy for you to get to. The compassion needs a little bit more work, but it's in you. It's not like it's not there. It's definitely there. It's just trying to put yourself in their shoes a little bit more. And I think you would be a great leader. I think you develop that piece, you'd be a great leader.
I appreciate that.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.